They once brought the Wild West to life in The Big Valley, 1965-1969, a series filled with drama strength and unforgettable characters. But what became of the stars, who gave the Barkley family its soul? Some reached great fame, others faced tragedy, and many have already left this world. Who survived the passage of time and whose stories ended in silence? Richard Long remembered as a symbol of stoic charm and strength, with his role as Jared Barkley in The Big Valley, 1965-1969, was born on December 17, 1927. When the show premiered, he was 37 years old, already a seasoned actor with a steady career in both television and film. In The Big Valley, he played the eldest Barkley son, a refined lawyer whose calm intelligence contrasted with the roughness of the Western setting. Before stepping into the Barkley family drama, Long had built a career that included roles in movies such as The Stranger on the Third Floor and Ma and Pa Kettle. His versatility carried him through a variety of genres, though his fame rested primarily in television. Despite success, Long's career was not without shadows. He endured typecasting that sometimes limited his opportunities, and his health struggles often cut short the momentum of his rising stardom. His personal life was marked by both triumph and tragedy. Richard married actress Susan Ball, only to lose her to cancer at a young age, a devastating blow that haunted him. He later remarried, but his relationships were often strained by the pressure of Hollywood and his own battles with illness. Financially, his net worth at the height of his career is estimated to have been around $1 million, a respectable fortune at the time. But he was not immune to financial stress, which included the burden of medical bills and the unstable nature of acting contracts. Richard Long's life came to a tragic end on December 21, 1974, just 4 days after his 47th birthday, when he died of a heart attack. His death shocked fans as he seemed to embody resilience both on and off screen. He left behind children from his second marriage and a modest estate far from the grand Hollywood empires some of his contemporaries built. Today, his legacy remains as the quiet yet unforgettable face of the Big Valley, a man whose talent shone despite the misfortunes that ultimately defined his life's narrative. Peter Breck, remembered as the fiery and unpredictable Nick Barkley in The Big Valley, 1965-1969, was born on March 13th, 1929. When the series began, he was 36 years old, and his performance quickly became iconic. While Barbara Stanwyck provided the matriarchal backbone of the show, and Richard Long portrayed calm rationality, Breck brought a storm of intensity, giving Nick Barkley a larger-than-life energy that fans loved. Before his Western breakthrough, Breck's career included guest roles on television staples such as Maverick, 77 Sunset Strip, and Perry Mason. He also starred in the short-lived series Black Saddle and appeared in films like The Crawling Hand. Yet, despite his undeniable charisma, Breck faced the classic Hollywood struggle of being typecast. After The Big Valley, many casting directors saw him only as the hot-headed cowboy, limiting his chance to expand into diverse roles. Off-screen, Breck lived a more complicated life. He married dancer Diane Bourne, and together they raised a son, Christopher. But tragedy struck when Christopher developed acute myeloid leukemia and later passed away, a devastating loss that Breck and his wife never fully recovered from. Professionally, he tried to reinvent himself by founding an acting school in Vancouver, where he mentored young talent. Financially, his net worth was modest, estimated at around $1 to $2 million at its height. But the personal toll of family loss far outweighed any material success. In his later years, Breck suffered from dementia, a cruel illness that gradually stole his sharp mind and vibrant presence. He died on February 6, 2012 at the age of 82 in Vancouver, Canada. His passing marked the end of a man who once lit up television screens with sheer force of personality. While his estate was modest and without the luxury of Hollywood empires, his legacy endures through his unforgettable portrayal of Nick Barkley, a character whose passion mirrored the turbulence and tragedy of the actor's own life. Barbara Stanwyck immortalized as the iron-willed matriarch Victoria Barkley in The Big Valley, 1965 and 1969, was born on July 16, 1907. At 58 years old when the series began, she commanded the screen with a rare combination of elegance, toughness, and maternal warmth, embodying a widowed ranch owner who led her family through the challenges of the Old West. Her role on the series became a defining late-career triumph, earning her a new generation of admirers. But Stanwyck's legacy stretches far beyond television. She was already a Hollywood legend by the time she joined The Big Valley, starring in classic films such as Double Indemnity, 1944, Stella Dallas, 1937, and Ball of Fire, 1941. Her talent brought her 4 Academy Award nominations, though she never won a competitive Oscar, something many fans saw as a great injustice. Despite professional acclaim, her personal life was often marred by heartbreak. Her marriage to actor Frank Fay ended bitterly amid reports of abuse, while her second marriage to Robert Taylor collapsed after years of growing distance. Stanwyck adopted a son, Anthony Dion Fay, but their relationship became estranged, a painful rift that left her later years marked by loneliness. Though her career brought her wealth, with an estimated net worth of around $10 million at her peak, she lived a relatively private life, investing in real estate, but keeping much of her fortune close. In her later years, Stanwyck withdrew from the public eye. She never remarried after Taylor often describing her devotion to her work as both her salvation and her curse. On January 20th, 1990, she died of congestive heart failure and chronic obstructive pulmonary disease at the age of 82, a result of lifelong smoking. Her death closed the chapter on one of Hollywood's most enduring stars. Though she left behind no close family, her portrayal of Victoria Barkley remains an eternal symbol of resilience, a mirror of the personal battles and sacrifices that defined her life. Napoleon Whiting, best remembered as the loyal family butler, Silas in The Big Valley, 1965-1969, was born on September 21, 1910. When the show began, he was 55 years old, bringing quiet dignity and warmth to a role that could have easily been overlooked. As Silas, Whiting became a subtle yet vital presence embodying loyalty, humor, and compassion within the Barkley household. His character stood out as one of the few black figures regularly appearing in a mainstream Western of the era, making his contribution quietly groundbreaking. Before his television success, Whiting had spent years working in film and television, though often in small or uncredited parts. He appeared in productions such as Song of the South, 1946, The Lost Weekend, 1945, and later guest starred in series like Perry Mason and The FBI. Despite his talent, Whiting faced the cruel limitations of Hollywood's systemic typecasting, offered mostly servile roles that reflected the prejudices of the time, rather than his true range as an actor. This professional ceiling left his career filled with frustration and missed opportunities. Whiting's personal life remained largely private. He never sought the spotlight outside of his roles, and little is known about his marriages or children, if any. Financially, his net worth never rivaled that of his co-stars, likely ranging in the hundreds of thousands rather than millions, as Hollywood seldom rewarded supporting actors, especially black performers of his generation. Still, he was respected among peers for his professionalism and quiet resilience. Tragedy came when Napoleon Whiting died on October 22, 1984, at the age of 74. The cause was not widely publicized, a quiet end that contrasted with the visibility of his work on The Big Valley. He left behind no vast estate or major fortune, but his legacy rests in the steady, unshakable presence he gave to Silas, a character who, like Whiting himself, offered strength in the background, enduring in memory long after his final bow. Douglas Kennedy, remembered as a rugged screen presence, became a familiar face to audiences through his countless roles in westerns and television dramas. In The Big Valley, 1965-1969, he appeared as a supporting character, often embodying lawmen ranchers or figures of authority who crossed paths with the Barkley family. Born on September 14, 1915 in New York City, Kennedy was about 50 years old when the series began airing. His stern looks and towering frame made him a natural choice for Western productions, and The Big Valley only added to his long resume of tough, stoic roles. Before his television fame, Kennedy served in World War II with the U.S. Army Air Corps, which shaped his disciplined on-screen persona. His film career spanned dozens of titles, including appearances in They Died with Their Boots, on 1941, Big Town Scandal, 1948, The Walking Hills, 1949, Dallas, 1950, The Thing from Another World, 1951, and Plunder of the Sun, 1953, Later, he became a frequent guest on popular TV series such as Perry Mason Bonanza and Gunsmoke. While never achieving superstar status, Kennedy was considered a dependable character actor who filled vital roles in Hollywood's golden age of westerns. His personal life, however, was not without turbulence. Kennedy struggled to maintain lasting recognition in an industry that often typecast him. He married at a relatively young age, but his marriage ended in divorce, a private setback that mirrored the instability of his acting career. Reports suggest he had one child, though his family life remained largely out of the public spotlight. Financially, Kennedy never amassed a fortune. His net worth, if adjusted to modern figures, might be estimated at around nearly $2 million modest, compared to leading men of his era. Unlike some of his contemporaries, he did not invest heavily in real estate, leaving little behind in terms of property wealth. Tragically, Douglas Kennedy's life ended prematurely. He died on August 10, 1973 in Honolulu, Hawaii, from cancer at the age of 57. His death was a reminder of how swiftly Hollywood could move on from even its most reliable supporting players. Kennedy left behind a legacy of nearly 200 screen appearances, embodying the grit and stoicism of a bygone era. Today, he is remembered not for scandal or wealth, but for his steady contributions to classic American cinema and television. Harlan Ward, a dependable character actor of American film and television, carved out a career defined by quiet authority and understated performances. In The Big Valley, 1965-1969, he appeared in supporting roles often cast as a judge banker or town official figures, whose steady presence grounded the drama of the Barkley family's struggles. Born on November 6, 1917 in Los Angeles, California, Ward was around 48 years old when the series began airing. His mature demeanor and composed delivery made him a natural fit for roles that required dignity and trustworthiness. Ward's career stretched across 3 decades, and he became especially recognizable to fans of westerns and crime dramas. He appeared in films such as The Fighting Kentucky in 1949, alongside John Wayne, the Man from Laramie, 1955, and Man from God's Country, 1958. On television, his face was a constant guesting on Perry Mason Bonanza, The Virginian, and Gunsmoke. He also held recurring roles, most notably as Sheriff Brannon in The Rifleman, and as a steady presence in Perry Mason, where he often played court officials or men of the law. Though never a headline star, his reliability earned him respect within the industry. Despite his professional consistency, Ward faced the frustrations of being typecast. Hollywood rarely offered him leading parts, leaving him overshadowed by bigger names. This limitation became a quiet burden. His career was steady, but without the recognition he might have deserved. His personal life remained discreet. He kept his marriages and family matters away from publicity. There is no widely documented scandal, but his relative anonymity in Hollywood was its own kind of tragedy. Unlike many contemporaries, Ward did not accumulate great wealth. His net worth would be considered modest, perhaps the equivalent of under $1 million today, with little evidence of real estate holdings or lavish investments. Harlan Ward lived a long life, though one marked by professional underappreciation. He died on March 13, 1980 in Los Angeles, California, at the age of 62, reportedly of natural causes. His death passed with little fanfare, a quiet exit for a man whose screen presence had been reliable yet unsung. Today, Ward's legacy rests in the countless background roles where he lent dignity and credibility, embodying the forgotten faces that made classic television and cinema feel authentic. Paul Sorensen, a tough and versatile character actor, became a recognizable face in American television and film, thanks to his frequent appearances as sheriff's deputies and no-nonsense authority figures. In The Big Valley, 1965-1969, he took on supporting roles that fit his rugged persona, lawmen, townsfolk, and enforcers, who often found themselves caught between the Barkley family and the drama swirling around Stockton. Born on February 16, 1926 in Kenosha, Wisconsin, Sorensen was about 39 years old when the series began airing. His sharp features and commanding voice made him a natural choice for westerns. Sorensen's career was built on reliability rather than stardom. He appeared in numerous films including Hang 'em High, 1968, More Dead Than Alive, 1969, and The Day of the Locust, 1975. television proved his strongest platform guest spots on Gunsmoke, Perry Mason Bonanza. The Rockford Files and Dragnet ensured that his face was instantly familiar to TV audiences, even if his name was not. Perhaps most memorably, he held a recurring role on the primetime soap Dallas, where he played Andy Bradley, a board member, frequently sparring in the Ewing Oil boardroom. Off-screen, Sorensen lived a quieter but not unchallenged life. He served in World War II before turning to acting, which gave him a sense of discipline that carried into his career. Despite steady work, he never became a household name, a reality that weighed on him at times as he watched peers achieve greater fame. Financially, Sorensen lived comfortably but not extravagantly, with a net worth that may be estimated around $1 to $2 million by today's standards. He and his wife Jacqueline May shared a long marriage, raising 2 sons together, and later became active in Christian ministry, reflecting a turn toward faith and stability in his later years. Sorensen retired from acting in the 1980s and stepped away from Hollywood, choosing a quieter life, away from the spotlight. Tragedy struck when his health declined in his later years. He died on July 17, 2008 in Cardiff by the Sea, California, at the age of 82 from dementia-related complications. His passing marked the end of a life lived mostly in the background of Hollywood, yet his contributions were vital to the realism of the stories he inhabited. Today, Paul Sorensen is remembered as one of those dependable character actors whose work may not have brought him fame, but left a lasting mark on classic television and film. Harry Swoger, though not a household name, left his mark as one of those reliable supporting actors who gave depth to classic television. In The Big Valley, 1965-1969, he appeared in minor but memorable parts, usually as townsmen bartenders or background figures who helped bring authenticity to the bustling community around the Barkley family. Born on September 23, 1919 in Ohio, Swoger was about 46 years old when the series began. His sturdy build and everyman looks made him a natural fit for westerns and dramas that demanded realism. Swoger's career spanned film and television, though he was most visible in TV guest spots. He appeared in series such as Perry Mason Bonanza, The Wild Wild West, and Gunsmoke, where he often played working-class characters. In cinema, he landed small roles in The Manchurian Candidate 1962, Seconds 1966, and Change of Habit 1969, alongside Elvis Presley. While never elevated to leading man status, he was part of the fabric of mid-century Hollywood, filling in the indispensable background roles that made stories feel lived in. His life, however, was not without struggles. Like many character actors of his era, Swoger faced the frustration of being typecast into small, often uncredited parts. He never broke through to stardom, and this limitation weighed heavily on his career trajectory. Financially, he lived modestly with no record of major property holdings or great wealth. His net worth, if measured today, would likely be under $1 million. His personal life remained largely private, with little public information about marriages or children, which adds a layer of quiet mystery to his biography. Sadly, Swoger's life was cut short. He died on November 14, 1970 in Los Angeles, California, at just 51 years old. The cause was a heart attack, bringing a sudden end to a career that still had potential for growth. His passing was relatively unnoticed in Hollywood, another example of how many hard-working actors faded from memory, despite years of contribution to beloved films and shows. Today, Harry Swoger is remembered by classic TV enthusiasts as one of those unsung performers whose presence, though often brief, helped shape the golden age of American television. Harry Swoger may not have achieved household name status, yet his steady presence on screen made him an essential part of classic television's texture. Born on September 23, 1919 in Ohio, he entered the Big Valley 1965-1969 at around 46 years old, where he appeared in small but recognizable roles, bartenders, townsfolk, and background figures who lent realism to the Barkley family's world. His solid frame and unassuming appearance suited him perfectly to westerns and mid-century dramas. Though Swoger's resume leaned heavily toward television, he also carved out a space in film. Audiences could spot him in shows like Perry Mason Bonanza, The Wild Wild West, and Gunsmoke, where he repeatedly embodied the working-class characters that grounded those stories. On the big screen, his credits included The Manchurian Candidate 1962, Seconds 1966, and Change of Habit 1969, with Elvis Presley. Always in the background but never invisible, Swoger epitomized the reliable supporting actor who gave life to Hollywood storytelling. Yet beneath this steady stream of work lay frustration. Like many character actors of his time, Swoger found himself boxed into small or uncredited parts, unable to break through to leading roles. This lack of recognition hindered his career's momentum and weighed on his professional satisfaction. Financially, he remained modest, far from wealthy, his net worth today estimated at less than $1 million. As for his personal life, it remained largely outside public view. There are no clear records of marriage, children, or significant property, leaving his private world largely a mystery. Swoger's story ended abruptly. On November 14, 1970, in Los Angeles, California, he died of a heart attack at just 51 years old. His passing came quietly with little attention from the industry he had served faithfully. Like so many character actors, his contributions risked fading into obscurity. Still, for devoted fans of classic westerns and television, Harry Swoger's work endures as a reminder of the countless unsung performers who shaped the golden age of American entertainment. Bing Russell, while never the marquee star, carved out an enduring legacy as one of Hollywood's most recognizable character actors. Born on May 5, 1926 in Brattleboro, Vermont, he was nearly 39 years old when The Big Valley premiered in 1965. On the series, he slipped into familiar supporting roles, lawmen, ranch hands, or townsfolk characters who added weight and authenticity to the Barclays world. His sharp features and rugged demeanor made him a natural fit for westerns, and he became a steady presence in the genre. Russell's career stretched far beyond the Big Valley. He appeared in over 100 television shows and films, often in short but memorable roles. Viewers saw him in classics like Bonanza Rawhide, The Rifleman, and Gunsmoke. On the big screen, his credits included The Magnificent Seven, 1960, Rio Bravo, 1959, and Shenandoah, 1965. While he never ascended to leading man status, Russell excelled at creating believable, hard-working characters who made the larger stories come alive. But his life wasn't free of challenges. Like many career character actors, Russell often faced the disappointment of being typecast, and opportunities for larger, more prominent roles rarely materialized. Hollywood's hierarchy kept him on the margins, a dependable presence, but seldom in the spotlight. Financially, he lived comfortably but modestly with his estimated net worth, today likely around $1 to $2 million, a reflection of steady work rather than great stardom. Away from acting, Russell's passion for baseball shaped his legacy in an unexpected way. He owned and managed the independent minor league team, the Portland Mavericks, known for their scrappy spirit and unconventional approach to the game. This side of his career revealed a man determined to create joy and opportunity outside Hollywood's strict boundaries. In his personal life, Russell was married to Louise Julia Crone, and together they raised 4 children, including actor Kurt Russell, who would go on to achieve the stardom his father never quite reached. Bing Russell's story came to a close on April 8, 2003, when he died of cancer in Thousand Oaks, California, at the age of 76. His passing marked the end of a career defined not by celebrity, but by constancy and character. Though often in the background, his work continues to resonate with fans of classic westerns and television, and his influence carries on through both his family and his contributions to sports and entertainment alike. John Harmon never rose to stardom, but his long career made him a familiar face to generations of movie and television fans. Born on June 30, 1905 in California, he was already a seasoned veteran by the time The Big Valley aired in 1965. Nearly 60 years old when he appeared in the series, Harmon played minor townsfolk and background characters whose presence added realism to the Barclay family's Stockton community. His thin frame and slightly weary appearance made him an ideal choice for understated roles that required believability rather than glamour. Harmon's film career began in the 1930s and included small parts in major productions. He appeared in Fritz Lang's You Only Live, once 1937, and later worked with Orson Welles in The Magnificent Ambersons, 1942, and The Stranger, 1946. Though never the star, he stood on the sets of cinema giants playing his part in Hollywood history. As television took hold, Harmon transitioned smoothly into the new medium. Fans spotted him in Perry Mason's Star Trek, The Twilight Zone, Bonanza, and Gunsmoke. His roles were often brief clerks, deputies, shopkeepers, but his consistency gave countless episodes their lived-in authenticity. Like many character actors, Harmon faced the disappointment of typecasting. Leading roles eluded him, and financial success was modest, with an estimated net worth today under $1 million. His personal life remained largely private, with little known about family or property. Harmon died of heart failure on August 6, 1985 in Los Angeles at the age of 80. His passing, quiet and largely unnoticed, mirrored his career, steady, enduring, but rarely celebrated. Yet for classic TV and film enthusiasts, John Harmon endures as one of the countless unsung figures who gave Hollywood its depth and authenticity. Charles Briles remains a memorable figure in television history for his brief but impactful role on The Big Valley, 1965-1969. Born on December 17, 1945 in Los Angeles, California, he was only 19 years old when the series premiered. Cast as Eugene Barclay, the youngest and most studious member of the Barclay family, Briles brought a fresh energy to the show. Unlike his siblings, Eugene was a medical student, a role that highlighted his sensitivity and intellect, rather than the rugged toughness associated with Western heroes. Though Eugene had potential as a recurring character, Briles' time on the show was cut short. Drafted into military service during the Vietnam War era, he was forced to leave the Big Valley after only a handful of episodes. This sudden shift dramatically altered the trajectory of his career. While his castmates went on to long-term Hollywood success, Briles struggled to re-establish himself in front of the camera once his service ended. After leaving acting, he shifted toward writing and behind-the-scenes work, contributing to projects for television, but never recapturing the visibility that his early role had promised. Like many young actors of the 1960s, Briles faced the harsh reality of how fragile a Hollywood career could be, especially when interrupted by circumstances beyond one's control. His financial situation remained modest, with no reports of significant wealth or property holdings. Briles lived a quieter life, away from Hollywood's spotlight, married with a family, and working steadily until his later years. He died on June 12, 2016 in Portland, Oregon, from congestive heart failure at the age of 70. Though his acting career was short-lived, his portrayal of Eugene Barclay gave audiences a different lens into the Barclay family dynamic, ensuring his small but lasting place in television history. Mark Tapscott may not be widely remembered today, but he carved a place for himself in classic television through his small yet steady contributions. Born on February 3, 1930 in Smithfield, North Carolina, Tapscott was in his mid-30s when he began appearing in The Big Valley 1965-1969. On the series, he usually appeared in minor roles, ranch hands, townsfolk, or background figures who helped build the lived-in atmosphere around the Barclay family. Though not a star, his screen presence added texture to the Western world that fans came to love. Tapscott's career spanned both television and film. He appeared in numerous shows during the 1960s and 1970s, often cast in guest or supporting roles. His resume included appearances on popular westerns and dramas of the era, where his rugged look and versatile demeanor made him a reliable choice for hardworking everyday characters. Like many character actors, he rarely landed lead roles, but he brought professionalism and credibility to every project he joined. Despite his dedication, Tapscott's career never flourished into stardom. Hollywood typecasting limited his opportunities, and he remained in the shadow of bigger names. Financially, he lived modestly with an estimated net worth far below Hollywood's leading players, likely under $1 million in today's terms. His personal life remained relatively private, with little publicly recorded about marriages, children, or property ownership, leaving much of his story obscured. Tapscott passed away on May 17, 1988 in Los Angeles, California, at just 58 years old. The cause of death was not widely reported, and his passing attracted little attention from the industry he had quietly served. Still, for classic TV fans, his work endures as part of the foundation that supported countless westerns and dramas of television's golden age. Charles Bale built a career in Hollywood that spanned both sides of the camera, shifting from acting in small roles to making a mark as a director and stunt coordinator. Born on June 28, 1935, in San Francisco, California, he was about 30 years old when The Big Valley premiered in 1965. On the series, Bale often appeared in minor roles, ranch hands, deputies, and townsmen characters who filled in the rugged landscape surrounding the Barkley family. His athletic build and natural toughness made him especially suited to westerns, and his early years in the business were defined by these gritty supporting parts. But Bale's ambitions carried him beyond acting. He developed a reputation as a talented stuntman, eventually becoming one of Hollywood's go-to stunt coordinators. His knowledge of action and physicality later transitioned into directing, where he helmed episodes of popular shows such as Chips and Starsky and Hutch. He even directed the cult action film The Gumball Rally, 1976, showcasing his ability to deliver fast-paced, adrenaline-fueled entertainment. Despite these accomplishments, Bale never achieved the widespread fame of leading men. Much of his work remained behind the scenes, where directors and producers valued his reliability, but audiences rarely knew his name. Financially, he lived a comfortable, though not extravagant life, with his estimated net worth likely around $1 to $2 million in modern terms, earned through decades of steady work in Hollywood. Charles Bale passed away on November 29, 2022 at the age of 87. His death was noted mainly among industry insiders, a quiet end to a career that had touched many productions across television and film. While he may never have been a household name, his contributions as an actor, stuntman, and director helped shape both the action and Western genres, leaving behind a legacy of craftsmanship and resilience. Which character from The Big Valley, 1965-1969, holds a special place in your heart? How does it make you feel, knowing that the beloved cast members are no longer with us? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Feel free to share them in the comments below. If you've been enjoying this content, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Thank you for watching.